show is going to be the biggest show Bravo has ever seen, because I have never seen anything like this.
Wow. As like Nene was becoming Nene, was there this like, look, your career is, you know, because of you, but was it like tied to that? Like, do you think like, you know, of like, was there like between you and Nene, like as she was getting bigger, like, bitch, like this will make your career, you know, it was both of you.
Yeah, no, listen, a lot of people always ask me, what is a producer's job? Because they're so confused by like, what are you guys doing? If it's reality, what are you doing? And I always say to them, our job is to get insight from the talent and to sort of push the storyline into the forefront. So for example, if Nene is saying to me, I'm pissed at Kim because I want to be on Don't Be Tardy for the Party song and blah, 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 then our job as producers is, okay, then you should sit down with Kim and have that conversation. So the beauty of Nene and I, which we call ourselves the Black Will and Grace, is the fact that she needed me as much as I needed her, if that makes any sense. So I always related to our favorite divas, like how Beyonce needed Matthew Knowles, how Whitney Houston had Clive Davis, how Janet Jackson had Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Every diva needs that anchor to help them be the star that they are. And it's not something that me and Nene don't agree on. We both knew that the success of our careers was based on our relationship. And that was the reason why, as she kept growing, I kept growing, because they all said, Nene needs Carlos. So whatever Carlos wants, give it to him, because he needs to make Nene happy.
Well, that must have been nice.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I would think it, you know, I would think it is probably the most successful producer housewife relationship in the history of Housewives also. I mean, you almost don't hear of it anymore these days.
Yeah, no, you don't hear of it. And that's the reason why I was happy that even in interviews, Nene would always give me my props. And I, for sure, will always give her props. She is the greatest housewife of all time. You know, on my podcast, Reality with the King, I did my top 10 greatest housewives list. And Nene is number one, not just because of our relationship, because it's the damn truth. Like, she is a part of pop culture. You know, she's a meme queen. She has the best one-liners in history. She's a force to be reckoned with. So our trajectory together is special because when you think about it, David, she and I started at the same time, being inexperienced. Her first reality show on camera and my first reality show as a producer. So we were both like holding each other's hands like, what the fuck is this? Like, what are we doing? So we leaned on each other. And as her stars started to rise, I just remember saying to her, you're going to be the biggest reality star in the world. And my only thing is just remember where you came from. Like, just do not get too big to where you think you're bigger than the show.
And do you think Nene has accomplished that?
Listen, I think what happened with Nene, and she and I have had this conversation. I said to her, I don't know what it's like to be a housewife. I don't know what that world is like. That, David, you know, being a reality star is one thing. Being a housewife is a whole different machine that you're a part of. And when people say, did Nene think she was bigger than the show? I think Nene always felt that, yes, her presence on the show was larger than life. And for sure, she is the face of that franchise. I think what happened is there's no rule book or no instruction manual that sort of teaches people how to handle that level of fame. And I think because Nene was taken out of obscurity and overnight became the biggest star on Bravo within one season. Because prior to that, you had the OC, Vicki was the star of the OC. You had New York City the first season. Bethenny and Jill were the stars of that season. But Nene was the star. And she, in my opinion, and people may argue with me, after the first season of Atlanta Housewives, Nene became the face of Housewives. And I think all of that pressure, David, does something to someone. And I definitely think it did a number on her. And she and I have said this. And my biggest thing with her was always, as much as I understand the logic of your position on the show, I don't understand what it's like to be a part of that machine, to where when she went outside, David, true story, it was like Michael Jackson fandom. People lost their fucking minds. And I think it does a number on you, to where if you don't have the right people around you to sort of keep things at a level, it can go to your head and it could truly make you freak out and not know what to deal with it. And I think for the longest time, Nene just didn't know how to navigate between being a mother and a wife in Atlanta and then being the star of a huge franchise.
That makes a lot of sense. What about like as a producer, is there anything that's like too low, like where you need to step in? Like, for instance, like you look at like the whole thing between like Portia and Kenya, you know, like where they got physical, like we've seen it on Potomac, like between like Monique and Candace and other franchises, like, you know, you want it to be real, right? Like that's your job as a producer, to draw the stories out, like you said. But when is it like you're watching, or is it like, it doesn't just have to be physical, but like where you're like, this is too low? Like, you know, like we've had some franchises, like for instance, like Kim Richards, like with the drinking and, you know, just like, is there anything like as a producer where it's like too cringy and you're like, or is it like, no, the job is to make good television and draw out the real reality?
No, so the only thing for me, in my experience, specifically on Atlanta Housewives, is when it became physical, because I was a part of it day one. So no matter how many times Nene and Kim got into it, Nene and Shereé, it never got to the point where weeds were pulling and fists were being thrown. So season 6 reunion, that big altercation between Portia and Kenya, I was there on set. And if you look at the video, I'm the guy pulling Portia back, because the moment Portia got out of her seat, I'm from Detroit, honey. I know when it's about to go down. So when I saw Portia get up, David, my instinct said, she's about to fight her. So I'm running, because again, I'm behind the camera. So I'm running as fast as I can, not thinking about like we're shooting the show, not thinking about Andy Cohen's on stage. I didn't think about any of that. My instinct was, stop this before it becomes big. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough pep in my step. So